Z this morning.
Just so my time has been there. It's just been, everything I could have asked for. I guess it's now, time for me to uphold my end of the bargain through and through and, doing everything that I know I'm capable of doing and staying all in my wheelhouse.
Stephen A., let's just start with your reaction to the interview on KJZ.
Well, a couple of points. My first reaction is major props to Keyshawn Johnson. We know why Cam Newton was there on that morning radio show because my man Keyshawn Johnson got him. That's why the hell he was there. So major props to Keyshawn Johnson for that. Secondly, I would tell you this. Listening to Cam Newton, because I watched the whole interview, I loved how he said, I'm competitive. You looking at a competitive dude. Everybody is competition to me. He looked at Keyshawn and Alan Hahn and said, y'all are competition to me, for crying out loud. The naysayers, everybody. That's the kind of attitude you have to have when you're at this stage and point in Cam's career. Those things that, sometimes when you accomplish a great deal, people are looking for things to motivate themselves. And in Cam's case, it can't just be ultimately winning a Super Bowl ring. It's got to be that little something extra on a day-in, day-out basis. So that was one thing I peeled from him, Max. The other thing I peeled from him is how supportive him and Mac Jones, Mac and Cheese, that's what he calls him, how they've been of one another and how he expects this dude. He said this kid is prepared, he's ready to go, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love that level of competition. And we support one another because our responsibility is to make sure we come in there and we maximize our potential to make this team as good as it can be. He talked about his relationship with Bill Belichick, and he talked about how Belichick is no nonsense, straight shooter, straightforward. These are the expectations. This is the job. And everybody has their own job description. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's basically what he said. Everybody's got their own responsibilities, and you got to live up to that. It really struck me when he brought up Josh McDaniels because he brought up COVID, Max. And he was talking about how during COVID, he said, with Josh McDaniels, you got to understand, this man is making adjustments every day. He doesn't stand still, and he's not married to one game plan all year long or even week to week. Things change day to day to day. He says, so you miss one practice, you might be behind with Josh McDaniels. And obviously, I had to miss significant time because of COVID. So that played a role in what may have compromised his level of success that, we had hoped he would have. He said all of those things. But in the end, what I took from it is that, his health is the best that it's been in 5 years. He's ready to go. He understands at this stage and point in his career. What I peeled from is that he recognizes time is running out, especially if he does not succeed. And Keyshawn told him to his face, look, my brother, I don't think you will. I believe in you. But if you play this year the way you played last year, I'm going to call for you to retire. Keyshawn told him that straight to his face. And Cam completely accepts that, being the man that he is. And just as an aside, Keyshawn did bring up how he needed to get to that cigar bar of Cam's in the ATL that I told y'all about. Let me tell America right now, if you go down to the ATL, you do want to go to the cigar bar that Cam Newton owns, because guess what? You don't have to smoke cigars there to have a good time. It's a really, really nice place.
Thank you.
I go there.
You can smoke cigars.
Yes, you can. But anytime I'm in Atlanta, I go there.
Okay.
I've been there about 5 times already. And damn it, it's going to be a 6th next time I get to Atlanta. Okay, go ahead. And I don't smoke cigars. Maybe one a year.
Let me ask you this, Max. Can Belichick win a Super Bowl with Cam? Because one thing I do want to say, it seems like he's been around a long time, but he's 32. Aaron Rodgers, the MVP, is 37, 5 years older. The guy who just won the Super Bowl is 43.
I think he can. And I want to home in on the haven't been healthy in 5 years. The first time he's been healthy in 5 years. And then also with McDaniels, you missed a single practice. Now think about this for a second. This is my Greatest Hits Volume 2 on Cam Newton.
Oh, boy.
He was playing the best passing football, I believe, Stephen A., of his career under Norv Turner. I think you would agree. It was at least comparable to the best he's ever done.
Okay.
But his passing game with Norv Turner, he was more accurate than he had been, maybe at any point in his career. He was looking good, and his team was winning. Then he gets hurt. Okay. He goes to so now he's catastrophic injury, misses a year. Comes back to a new team, new coach, new system, couldn't be more different than the other one, right? And think about what he said. Hadn't been healthy in 5 years, that includes last year. And think about what he said. You can't miss a practice with Josh McDaniels. Was there a preseason last year? No. No preseason. Was their practice extremely limited? In fact, their practice facility got shut down because of COVID. So they couldn't even practice to the extent that they were allowed. And he had COVID. Let's not forget, he lost that game to Russell Wilson. Bobby Wagner made a goal line play. It happens, right? It was one play away from beating the Seahawks. He looked very good in that game. He and Russell Wilson looked comparable in that game. Then he got COVID. He was not the same the rest of the year. We speculated on this show. Does he have that COVID fog that people hear about? And then a week or two after we're talking about this, he said, yeah, things haven't been the same. Right. That's legitimate. That's why I wonder about Chris Paul right now. That's legitimate. Now, consider this. He was playing on a team that had so few weapons, Tom Brady left and then looked like $1 billion on the new team. That's how few weapons he had, and it's not Tom Brady, it's Cam Newton dealing with it, with a new system, all catastrophic injury, with COVID, with no practice, with no preseason, etc. Still, 2 plays away from going 9-7. So, could he win double digits with the Patriots this year, considering they improve, they will be a preseason, there will be practice, he feels healthy, etc., etc.? Sure. Once you win double digits, you can get in the playoffs. If you're in the playoffs, can he win a playoff game when Belichick has time to prepare? Oh, yeah. Now, do I think they'll win the Super Bowl this year? I don't. But do I think they can win a playoff game this year? Okay. I do, and I believe Cam can win a Super Bowl with Belichick.
Well, let me stay with you on this one. Because we've had this discussion in the past, and I think it's important that everybody knows, we are reminded of where I stand on Cam Newton. I love Cam Newton. I really, really do. I love him as a person. I love him as a player. I don't root against him ever. I really don't root against anybody, but especially not him.
Just Cowboys fans.
That's right. I can't stand Cowboys fans. I actually don't hate the Cowboys. I love Jerry Jones, my buddy. You know how I feel about Jerry.
That's why I feel about
Jerry Jones. That's my buddy right there. And I like Stephen Jones as well. I can't wait for us to have a drink together. But them damn Cowboy fans make me sick, and I'll never apologize for that. Their misery is what I do truly, truly root for. Having said all of that, I will tell you this. Back to Cam. Max, I've never believed in him as a passer. That's my issue. He's been in the league for 10 years. He's completed 60% or better of his passes 4 times. That's it. And for me, when you play the quarterback position, I want to see you at better than 63% before I believe in you as a passer. That's me. That's just my personal criteria. Now, where Cam is special is that Cam is a significantly, I'm not mentioning him in the same breath, Tim Tebow in the same breath as him as a quarterback, because I understand there's levels to this. But I'm just talking about Cam's running ability. Cam and the New England Patriots could very well end up having the #1 rushing attack in football. That leads to ball control. That might open things up in your, in terms of your passing game, because the secondary has to really, they got to help out. And we get all of that. And the defense is going to be real. So New England should make the playoffs. They can make some noise. They'll probably have a home playoff game because they'll win the AFC East. We got to take those things into consideration. But in the end, when I look at Cam Newton, I look at a guy that's in his 30s now, no longer in his 20s, and the ability to run the football the way that he once did. I'm not sure that's going to be there. And even though that could lead to the #1 rushing attack, still in all, you got to wonder whether or not attrition will ultimately kick in. And his passing ability is not something I'm sold on.
I'd like to say one thing about the passing ability stuff. That's a legitimate point. You've always made that point, even after he won the MVP. You said he wasn't elite. You need to see consistency.
Passing.
Yes. Cam Newton, the year he got hurt, when they went 6-8. But let's be honest. They were